All right, we're going to get started. This is the land investing class. I'm Mike Mckenzie. I appreciate you being here. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and getting ready for Christmas. I know that I'm not ready for Christmas yet, so hopefully I will be soon. But right now I'm not. So again, I really appreciate you all getting here. At the end of this class, we're actually giving away my land investing program to anybody that wants it. So at the end of the class, I'll give you a way to go get that course. Couple things we talked about last time. We went over, let me just pull this up and we'll talk about it. So last time we talked about first offers, how to make them, which ways to make them. We talked about phone offers, determine expected sellers' reaction, trying to gauge that, where that's going to be, what to do, what if they say yeah, what to do if they say no. And keep in mind, by the way, in this class, it's very informal. If you got a question, you can either say it, chat it out, or however you want to on here. I'm very informal, and I would rather answer a question as we go than wait to the end on something. So a couple other things. Also talked about mailed offers, type of envelope. I myself use kind of I think I have one of these. Yeah. Let me unshare my screen a minute. So for me, I use an envelope like this right here. It's a unique size manila envelope. The reason I do that is just so it's going to stand out. It's just not a standard letter that's just going to kind of get tossed in the mail. I literally just went out to the end of my driveway, got the mail, and was separating the stuff that I knew was junk mail. In that offer package, you want a cover letter, a contract agreement, and a self-addressed return envelope. So that's some things you want in a mailed offer. Emailed offers, there's a couple things you can do on emailed offers. You can email and scan that cover page and all that. I've also recently developed a basically an email template, if you will, that goes over how to better present it in an email, what to say, how you got to your offer, and then the offer is actually buried within the email, so they have to kind of read it, so they just don't hurry up and get to it and then get mad because you didn't offer them retail. Well, if they don't respond to your offer, we talked about follow-up, the timelines. I usually wait about 4 or 5 weeks. There's a second offer cover letter that you can send out. Sometimes we talked about the tax letter. Someone bought it for 200,000 and you're buying it for 10. There may be some tax laws that allow them to write off some of that loss, so they're not losing quite as much. Any questions about what we did last time? If neither offer is accepted, then set up a time to contact them. It may be if they have a realtor, that sort of thing. But what I want to get into today is my offer is accepted. What do I do now? They've said yes. Where do I go from here? So that's what we're going to look at. A couple things we got to look at when it's accepted, and these are things also you may want to look at as you're looking at the property, as you're comping it, as you're getting ready to prepare your offer as well. What are my exit strategies? And what I mean by that, who's going to be my end buyer? What can I do with this property? Am I just flipping it? Am I wholesale flipping it like land, buy it for 10, sell it for 20 type thing? Is it a good owner finance deal? And what do I mean by a good owner finance deal? A good owner finance deal to me is, at a minimum, I want to make my money back in probably 6 months, max maybe a year. Ideally, most of mine, probably 75, 80% of mine, I get my money back in the down payment. So I'm cash flowing every month as I move forward. So I'm never in the red, so to speak, on the deals. Owner finance deals on land, they're really super easy to do, and they can really keep your company going. A couple months back, got COVID, got very sick with it. Didn't really care about doing anything in my company. We have enough owner finance deals that kept the company running. Everybody got paid. Everything got done. Everything was taken care of. So those owner finance deals are really can come in handy. Development, it may be for a developer. And other things. Another thing, once it's accepted, there's a couple things you want to do. You have to do due diligence on the property. You have to have marketing photos that you can do. You're going to have to write up the ad copy of it. Memorandum of purchase, we'll talk about that. Thanking the sellers for the offer or accepting your offer. I always, if somebody accepts my offer, I'll reach back out to them, say, I appreciate it. You know, we're gonna do our best to close this as quickly as we can. We'll keep you in the, you know, in the circle. And if you have any questions, contact me. And definitely keep in contact with them throughout the process. The last thing you want to do is wait have a 6 month, 6 month contract and you don't talk to them in 3 months. It's definitely usually doesn't turn out good. So let's talk about property due diligence. Property due diligence is basically a form. I have this done by actually a virtual assistant. They are part of the Landmasters group. They do it for me. I really enjoy just sending them property and they getting something back from it. And I'll show you a copy of that here in a second. But that's something you can do yourself. Well, how would I do that property due diligence? Well, I'll show you this this form here, and basically you could start by calling the county plan and zoning, figure out what can be built on it, how's it zoned, is there any water, is there any sewer, those sort of things. That's what you're looking for. That's the basics of it. Can be still stick-built homes, mobile homes. Find out if mobile homes can be, depending on the area you're investing in. Mobile homes is a big thing. Find out if mobile homes can be on there, because if they can, most likely will probably sell a little quicker. Zoning, power, how far the power is, that sort of thing. That's just some of the things you want to look at. A couple other things. You've got water, sewer, the topography of the land. That's important, and you should know a little bit about that in the beginning. Usually you can, when you're looking on county GIS sites, if you'll click the topography thing, I don't leave it on all the time, but especially if I'm in a mountain county, I may put that on to make sure I'm not buying a cliff or something. HOAs. If your property has an HOA, what you want to do, and you may or may not get it from that seller, is try to get a contact information from the seller to the HOA. See if they have a website. Sometimes you can do that by just Googling the neighborhood.
Robin's pregnant.
And finding some things.
Yeah, with a boy by CJ. I don't know if it's a boy or girl.
So another thing that we can do is, if it's an HOA, make sure see if it's a gated neighborhood or not. If it is a gated neighborhood, then that's something you want to determine how you're going to get access. If it's guard gated, sometimes it can be difficult. And I tell you one thing we do on a lot of those, because it's very hard to get people in and out if they're not with a realtor. We'll actually set up a showing like Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Anybody that wants to go see it, guys, goes at that particular time to see it, instead of people trickling in, a couple times a week. Other important specific details that may be specific for that property. I want to show you what my due diligence paperwork looks like, and what I typically look for in things. And now the due diligence sheet I'm showing you is from a property that we recently had. It's been sold now, but it's literally what I get on each property. And we'll kind of go over the key things of it. Owner's name on the tax record to make sure your seller is truly the owner of it. Parcel ID number is very important. This is not so much the account number, GEO number. Obviously the property address, if it has one. If it doesn't, I try to, sometimes I'll note out on the side, beside 123 Old Mill Road to the right of it. The county, the state. Another thing, big thing, how big is it? How large of a piece of property is it? And This is 1.03 acres. Subdivision, this wasn't. Approximate dimensions. Here's another key thing that's very useful and is very, very useful. Matter of fact, I put these coordinates, the main coordinate on my ad. Here's one. So what people may ask you, well, how do I get to the property? Especially, for example, this one doesn't have an address. It's Valdez, North Carolina. Well, I can give them these key GPS coordinates. That's going to take you directly to the property. So if most people have a phone, they can put that in their phone. GPS coordinates takes them right to the property. I also typically, again, if there's a property nearby, I'll say, hey, look, it's right across the street from 123 Main Street. Then you'll be at it. Some people say, do you have a survey on the property? No, I don't pay for a survey. Surveys can be expensive. I will allow a buyer, if they want to have one done, they can. But what I do have, I have all the corners of this property. This property has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different corners on it, and they're all GPS coordinated on there. So somebody could literally take their phone in their hand and walk to each point of that property and have it. So that's a really good thing. This is a link to Google Maps to the property. Let's see here, elevation, because this is a mountain property, 1,200 feet. Assessed value. This is usually what the county value is on it. Market value. Some counties, you know, it may have a $27,000 assessed value, maybe worth $50,000. Access to the property. This is important. Is it off a paved road? Is it a dirt road? Is it landlocked or not? What do I mean by landlocked? Is there no road frontage? You have to go through somebody else's property to get to your property. If it's landlocked, that can be some challenges. You can get around them, but it can create some challenges. You may have to cut an easement, or there may be an easement on file. And you can always ask your seller, if they've been to the property, how to do it. Here's another thing, shows me the closest major city or decent sized city. Right here, the closest address to the property. So mine just said Valdez. So this is the closest property to my property. It has an address. Closest small towns, it lists some of the small towns. That's actually good when you're writing up some of your stuff, some of that information. But I'll show you some other stuff on that. This also is who all they contacted. And like if somebody wanted to know, if you had a buyer that wanted to know, well, I'd like to call the planning and zoning department. Do you have any information for them? Matter of fact, I do. I've got their website and their phone number. Just making it easier for your buyers if need be. Here's an important part, back taxes. In this one, they were delinquent. Are their back taxes $248 every year, unpaid since 2014. So this one had 6 years worth of back taxes, and the current taxes were used. You should be looking at back taxes just to make sure when you make an offer on the property that doesn't have a bunch. If it does, it's no big deal. You can go renegotiate. For example, this is 6, that's $2,500, $1,500 or whatever worth of taxes. If I need to renegotiate my price and bring it down, I could and use that as a basis. Are there any tax liens? A lot of times they don't have access to that. Part of an HOA, this one does not. Now I will say with my virtual assistants that do this part, sometimes they miss the HOA because they're not so familiar as we are with HOAs, but you can usually tell that when you're looking at properties within the area when you're comping them. The zoning of the property, R1, what's that mean? Well, it's residential 1. This is a level lot, property use code, it doesn't have any. The land is wooded, it's not cleared. Is the property buildable? Yeah, it should be. You know, you can't say for sure, but it should be buildable based on what they've found out on it. Here's some cool things. What can be built on it? That's getting a little crazy on some of the things, but can we camp on the property? Depending on where it is, that may be a suitable question that people may ask you. Are RVs allowed? No. Mobile homes allowed? No. Are tiny houses? This is a new question they've started asking. Tiny houses or small cabins. Some cities and counties are starting to put in that wording in their zoning and stuff, tiny home zoning requirements. So that's coming. That's a new thing. Let's see here. So what are the setbacks on the lot? Meaning I can't build a house unless I'm set back on this one. It's got to be a half acre, 1.5 acres served by public water to build, 2 acres other. It's not in a flood zone. See what else we have here. We've got Mineral Springs Mountain in this area. Some of this stuff you don't have to. Does property currently have electricity? No. See if it's nearby. That's important. Septic system. Is the septic system has to be installed? Yes, that means that you're going to have some sort of sewer system. It doesn't have public. Usually it will say, here you go, would needs to install septic system. So that's some of the key things that you get out of that. So you get a wealth of information, and quite frankly, this this sheet cost me $10, $15 at best. It's not a lot. So that's pretty neat that it's not that expensive. For me as an investor, it's got a lot going on. Or if I was working and doing this on the side, if I was working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday or something, it behooves me to pay for this, because I don't want to sit on the phone and try to figure out all these questions or the key questions on that. I would rather somebody else do it. So again, for me, I love the thing. It makes things a lot easier, and that sort of thing. Let me check something. But that's one of the key things that I handed off from day one. I don't like to deal with it. See what else we can go over here. Our next step. Share this. So we've talked about the due diligence, topography, all that stuff. So we have all that, and you can get a lot of this maybe from the seller, but typically a lot of times they may have not been to it, don't remember, or it's been 20 years and it was clear when they were there 20 years ago. Now there's a forest on it. So that's some things to think about as we go. Next thing, marketing photos. How do I get them? Do I create them myself, hire it out, things like that? Well, the cool thing now is with Google Maps and things like that, you can get a lot of your property or a lot of your pictures that way. You think people always, or I've had some people say, well, why don't you have a shot from the road of the property? Well, if it's a wooded thing, all you're going to see is a wall of trees. I could walk across the street and take a picture at my house of a wall of trees. You wouldn't know the difference. So that's, to me, I may do depending on the neighborhood, I may do an aerial shot, a street view shot. But some of the key pictures you want are aerial views with the property highlighted, aerial pics with dimensions of the property nearby. I'm going to show you these pictures too, nearby towns and cities, because keep in mind, one of the key things that you're doing here is you're not necessarily selling dirt. What you're selling is the community, how it would be, how they would feel if they lived there. You know, what's near my community is amenities, shopping, restaurants, parks, lakes. If it's catering to an older community, medical facilities may be important. What's a call to action photo? Call to action photo for me is it's got a picture. It says call now before it's gone. Contact Mike at this number. Those are call to action photos. It's telling them call me now, do something now. Call to actions are also in your ad copy, but that's a key thing on that aspect. Let me pull up one of my things. I will show you some of those photographs to give you a really good idea of what might. Now, again, I don't do these photos. I have a VA that does a really good job at it. So that's who does my photos. Let's see here. looking for a property that we easy to look at. Do this one right here. Well, I would get one that's all right. Share my screen again with you. There it is. So here's an aerial photograph I get from the property. And I like these 3D views of the property because it shows me there is an angle there. It gives my buyer the idea that there is an angle to this property or a slope to the property. So that's very helpful. Again, you see if I can't, I know what I can do for you. Just bear with me. Thought this was up. Pull it up right quick. I'm actually just going to show you one of our ads. I can bring it up, and that way it will show you what we do and how we do it. So that's a commercial one. That's a little different one. Okay, here's one. Okay. Bring that down. All right, here we go. Talked about call to action photos, and this is literally my ad for this property. It's lot for sale. This one's Burke County. Call us today. It's got a number. This one's 0.48 acres. Again, another call to action word. Own it today. Things like that. Now you can create these photos in the 3D boxes and put the text that's in there. That's just not a strong point for me. So I try to focus on my strong points and farm out the others. Again, this one you can tell has a little slight little drop there, not a lot. This is a really good one. People appreciate. They appreciate the size of the property. And we literally just sold this property 2 weeks ago. And I'll be honest, I bought it for $4,000, sold it for $8,000. Wasn't a big deal, but I doubled my money. But it's 104 foot of road frontage, 200 foot deep. So that gives some people a really good idea of the size of that property. Again, it gives elevations, aerial views. Another one. So this right here, here's my property for sale. Morgan is close by. Hickory is close by. Lenore, Newton, Lincoln. So it tells me where cities are, because if I'm living there, I may work in some of these places, or that may be like, for example, here's the airport here. It may be where I need to go to grocery shop, out to dinner, those places. Near street view. So this gives me a good idea. And this was taken in the fall, which is pretty cool. Leaves are changing. Some of them are already off, but it gives someone an idea. Oh, okay. So this is rural, good road, good state road. This side sits up a little bit from this side. So, and I think the property's on this side. So it kind of looked downward. Here's another thing. Talked about Glen Alpine, Enola, Salem, just nearby towns that you may go to for your groceries or to dinner or breakfast or something. Here's some things to do nearby. So I'm living there. If I'm gonna build a house there, or maybe it's a vacation place, I may want to put my camper up there. South Mountain State Park is only 10 miles away. That's a picture of it. High Shoals Falls. It's a picture of the High Shoals Falls, 20 miles away. And you can Google that. A lot of times, like for this is Burke County, you can go Burke County Tourism and see this. I could Google South Mountain State Park and get these pictures and get pictures that way. So there's ways to get the pictures. I just have a VA that has a specific criteria that he does for all of my properties unless it's something different. So that's the photos he shows. Let's go back. So you see that it tells about the property, and that's important, but it also tells what's nearby, what you can do. Interested in this property, call or text Mike today. Again, another call to action. So those are some of the things that we look for when we're doing the call to actions, doing the photos. Again, I have a VA that does that. He does it for usually about $10 to $12 to get all those photos to me. So my turnaround, as soon as I get a property under contract, some of the things that I do is literally I get the due diligence started and the picture started. Then I'll work on the ad copy as that comes in. Some of the things that we talk about, what's needed in ad copy. And what I mean by ad copy is, what's included in that? What do I write about the property? Well, there's a couple things. Part of the ad copy is, do I create it or hire? That's not that. So title of your, and that says title, it should say title. Title of your ad, you want an attention grabber. You want to make sure it's something that grabs their attention. It could be mountain property or nearby, or live near hiking trail, something that grabs their attention. Another thing may be buy this property today for 50% of assessed value. Say it's assessed at 50,000, you got it at 12,000 and you're selling it at 25. It's 50% below what its assessed value is. That gets people's attention. Huge discount on property, that sort of thing. Ad content. What do I want to put in the ad? Emphasize discounted prices, percentages versus dollar amount. So if it's a $50,000 property, I may want to say 50% off, but let's say it's a $100,000 property and 20% ours. Yeah. Do I want to say it's 20,000 or back to the $50,000 when you're selling it for 25? It may be in the top, I may say it's 50% off, or buy this for 50% of the value. Somewhere else in the ad, I may say, buy this property for $25,000 less than the value. To me, that speaks volumes. Well, they're going to look, wow, this property is only 25,000, and they've already knocked 25 off. So I'm getting this for 25,000. That's a great deal. So just play with it. You can always change it. Talked about the call to action words: buy now, hurry up, don't wait, contact us the day before it's gone. It creates a sense of urgency to get them to talk or call you and talk about the property with you. You want to talk about the property and the qualities of that property. The benefits, convenience, and accessibility. If it's remote, then that may be the angle you go. Be secluded. I know I get properties a lot of time want privacy. This is the property for you. Great 3 acres, solid privacy, yet close to town, 20 miles to a larger city or whatever. And that may be a photo too. So it lets them know it's the benefits of whatever the benefits of that particular property is what you're looking at. Key due diligence points. What do I add in? Well, I don't add all of that due diligence. What I do is that due diligence form I showed you, I actually take off some of the key information and we'll send it to a buyer. If they're a serious buyer, I'll send them that. So, hey, let me share with you our due diligence we do on the property. They really like that. But key things: address, if it has one or nearby, GPS coordinates, power, water, sewer. Does it have these, or are they nearby? If it has an HOA, things like that. Anything else specific about it that may come out. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm thinking about those things. Let's look at the ad that we were going over. Okay. So here's the ad write-up on this. Look at this. So we talked about catchy tile, huge price drop, price to move today. We did, and that's just a code for my company to know which property it is. It's inventory code. You know, 8,999. We dropped it down. This is Facebook Marketplace. It actually shows us those things. 26 weeks ago, it was listed. Condition. Here's a key thing, and this is getting ahead of ourselves, but on Facebook Marketplace, while I think about it, in case we don't get there today, list it under miscellaneous, not under real estate. And there's a reason for that. Want to be in a county, but still close to city conveniences. This is a lot for you. You can own this beautiful half-acre lot and still be close to 3 small towns that has everything you need. So it still talks about the fact that you're close to things. And then I actually listed some of those towns that you're close to. Oh, it's not for sale. Computer's not moving. Downtown Morganton's this far. There's so much to do. Let's see why this is not working correctly. That's weird. Take that off. Buyers. All right. So again, we start talking about all of that. Actually, I can show you on that is what I do with it. The ad copy to me is one of the most critical things you want to do. So you want to make sure you have that right on any of these properties that you do. Pull this one up. So Michelle, you got a question?
Yes, hi, Mike. I'm still trying to have understanding with land and lots. I was wondering for the first land that you showed, what are we able to put on that once we buy it? Because I can't really tell from the picture.
That's where your due diligence is going to come in to play. Okay. That's going to actually let you and let's look at that, because what in your due diligence here, if we go down, actually we're right at it here. So what can be built on the property? And then you get into the key things they're going to want to know is, can I put a mobile home on it? Can I camp on it? Does it have to be a stick built or, you know, a regular home? Can't be a modular home. Those are things. Now, when people ask me a lot of times about like, well, can it be a tiny house? And I don't have any data. What I'll do is say, I'm not really sure on that. Here's the county plan and zoning. I would contact them directly with your question. That usually helps on stuff like that. But the key thing is I do put in my ads, you know, what can be built on it, that sort of things, because I do want to have that part on there.
Right, because that's what I was wondering. I know for the stuff that you may sell.
Yeah.
I guess for everything that you may sell, will you include that on there, that information, so we don't have to search for it? Or
Yep. And I'm going to show you one of my ad copies. This is the raw form of it that I literally copy and paste. What I do with all my properties is I literally take a Word document and I type up the ad. And the reason I do that is I can just copy and paste it. Then I can, you know, I copy and paste this on Facebook Marketplace, Zillow, Craigslist, wherever I want to put it. And I'm not writing it, but we talked about, you're talking about what can be built on and things. This is one of the things. Zoning residential type of home allowed, stick built only homes. Like if mobile homes were allowed here or tiny homes or whatever, this is where I would put it. I always include type of homes allowed on the property or what can be on the property, because that's a key question. Like you said, that's going to be one of the key questions that anybody's going to ask when they're buying the property, if it's going to
Right.
work for
Right.
them. That makes sense?
Yes, it does. I was just concerned, not concerned,
Yeah.
but wanting to know, because when you see woodsy types of land or trees and
Right.
like a forest type thing, it's just always a question of wonder. Could you in fact build there, a getaway cabin or something of that sort? So that's why I was asking.
And you get those questions, and usually, and I always put this on here because I want to know that cuts down on some of the calls you get, but it also, I get that, well, are you sure I can build on it? No, I'm not sure, but this is what the county will allow as long as it's within their guidelines. Once you clear out an area, you don't know what's really there. But yeah, that's definitely something. Again, this ad copy, this is a different one. You enjoy your privacy, but still want to be close to everything. We keep talking about that. It's kind of the theme today. We have the perfect property for you. Build your forever home, no neighbors. But this one's down east. It's near Fort Bragg. It's near Fayetteville. No mobile homes allowed. If mobile homes are not allowed, I do put it in the ad itself also. No HOA. A lot of people don't like the HOAs. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Here's where you get into what's going on. So I've got that little piece of what's close to it. Now, what can my family do around it? Well, there's a botanical garden. If your adventure's your thing, we got you covered. You got Zip Quest, Zip Line, waterfalls, treetop adventures. You're less than 2 hours from the beach and an hour to Raleigh, which is the state capital of North Carolina. So it gives them what they can do. Then we get into to buy this property as super discounted deal. Cash buyers get a $1,500 discount. So when we talk about owner financing and things layered on, I always give my cash buyers a discount. I buy it for cash for $7,500, $9,000 if you're owner financing it. Again, contact us today before it's gone. Call to action. Cape Fear River is just at the end of the road, which is really important. And then here's some information about the property. Again, it's land, it's 9,000 owner finance, 7,500 cash. Where it is, the parcel number, if they want to look it up, the property address, there's that GPS coordinates of how to get there. The size is important, zoning, road access, power is nearby here, well will be needed, and septic system needed. So they have that information. Now they'll still call you. They always still call. Here's the cool thing. Buy this property for 85% of market value. Contact us today. That's a huge word that really gets you that number. Wow, I can buy this at 85% of market value. What's that saying is you're buying it for 15% below market value, which in turn is 85% of market value. But people, when they see that, they're seeing 85% and they're thinking that it's, in their mind, a lot of times, because you see 25% off, it's wow, 85% discount, when it's not. And it's not a lie. It's not, I'm buying property for cash at 85% of market value. It's just a better eye catcher than buy this property for 15% below market value. Just a different way of saying things on that. So that's a kind of cool way to do it. Let's see what else we have going on. So marketing your property, there's a couple places that we market properties. One is Facebook Marketplace. These three places right here are the three key places I tell everybody you should market your property. Facebook Marketplace, Zillow, and Craigslist. Now, Craigslist doesn't get quite as many as it used to, but it gets a fair amount. I still sell properties on Craigslist. There's a unique way that you do Craigslist and getting there. You got to make sure it says land, that sort of thing. Zillow's another one. Now, Zillow, what they're going to do, here's a trick to Zillow that's really helped us in getting ads up with them, is once you go to post it, they're going to say, all right, we're going to call you, or we're going to ask you some other questions. 90% of the time, they're going to call you right after you submit it to be posted. And they're going 90% of the time ask you the price of it and the zip code of the property. But I have everything up in case they ask me some other questions. Those two typically are automated, so I can put them in. Now, sometimes they will actually ask you a question and that sort of thing. But yes, Zillow can be tricky with that. I also, in the beginning, I only put up 1 or 2 pictures and maybe two lines about the property. Great property in Cumberland County, price to sell. That's it. What happens is once I get it approved, then I can go in there and edit. I can put my 10 pictures or so in there. I try to usually do at least 8 to 10 pictures on something. Craigslist, you can do 26. Zillow, I think you can do infinite amount. Marketplace is 8 or 10, I believe. But then Zillow, again, I can go back there, put my whole ad, that sort of thing in there. Craigslist, you can put everything pretty much at the beginning. Just be careful with any website addresses or anything, because that sometimes can get you flagged. So definitely watch that. Now Facebook Marketplace, like if I was building an ad, do this right here. Do the right thing. Yeah. So, if you're going to build one, get on here, figure out what you want to do, your listings, seller dashboards, that sort of thing. Create new listing. Again, we found that instead of doing home, I go here, item, and I up to 10 photos, the title, the price of it, category. I always go down to miscellaneous, and condition, I just put new, and then my descriptions. The cool thing with this is you can boost that listing if you want to, but the really cool thing with Facebook Marketplace is join groups. If you're working in a particular area, let's say like one particular mountain area, join different investor groups or people that are looking for mountain properties. For example, when I post a property, it's usually posted in multiple places. Usually you can get different multiple places. Most of the time mine go to 15, 16 different places at one time. Matter of fact, I can show that. So if you notice, this is a mountain property. This thing is listed in 14 places, but I only had to post it one time in Facebook Marketplace. And then I just clicked it on all those groups, and it goes to all those different groups. So it's a pretty neat thing to do. Something to think about when you're doing that. Again, the Facebook Marketplace is probably where I sell a fair amount of my properties, more so than anywhere else a lot of times. So that's some. Now we also have some other options out there that work for folks. MLS, multiple listing service. Now realtors can be a little funny. It depends on the property. Some properties allow you to list on their their agents can list your property without you owning it. Some will not allow it. North Carolina, you can do that, but not all brokers will allow their realtors to do it. Flat fee listing is really a good place to go. If you can't get on like a realtor listing it, you can also, if you get a relationship with that realtor, they can treat it as a pocket listing also, which means it doesn't go on the MLS. They kind of just advertise it word of mouth. Neighbor letters. Neighbor letters are very important. we sell probably 25, 35% of our properties on neighbor letters. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about necessarily the 2 or 3 neighbors that connect to your property. However, that's your ones that usually are your strongest buyers. But let's say you're in a subdivision, I may do somewhere between 10, 15, 20 of the closest neighbors. I can do that on the GIS site or on the one of your land listing websites that you get, Agent Pro, whatever it may be. But I get those, I mail out a neighbor letter. We can go over a neighbor letter probably next time. But I say, hey, look, got this property before it hits the market, want to give you an opportunity to buy it. And I've had people jump right on it. I don't put the price on it because I want to gauge what they think the price is going to be, which typically works a little bit better than putting a price, because I want them to call me. If I put a price on it, it's too high for them. They may say, bump it, I'm not going to do it. So that's why I don't put the price on it. Get them to call me, and I will give them an offer or a discount if I can. Signs. Now, 90% of the time, you're not going to be near your properties that you do. Now, I'm here in North Carolina. Some of my properties I'm near, but I'll be honest, I don't ever go to my properties. I've had some in my same county and not go usually. But if you do happen to go by, if you can throw a sign on it, I throw a sign on the property, or you can go to Craigslist and have somebody pay somebody to put a sign there. But I also go to a nearby intersection, a busier one, and on that sign, it may be one of those arrow signs. It just says land for sale, call this number, and it's pointing down that road. Now, I mean, you may have to turn 3 more times to get there. The thing that what that helps me build is a buyer's list. And you want to make sure it's an intersection where people are stopped, either a stop sign, traffic light, something like that. So they're not blowing by your sign at 55 miles an hour. You want them to stop, look at it, and say, oh yeah. And that way they can write down your number there. If they go down the road and they miss your sign, or your sign's been blown away, or they just can't find your property, they got a number. Hey, I saw your thing, look down, I couldn't find your property. Can you tell me where it is? Yeah, let me send you a link to the ad. It's got the GPS coordinates in it, as well as the property address or the property nearby. And I'll send that to them. Most of the time, if I'm in front of my computer, I can send it to them. They're in their car, they can get it and go look at the property. So those are things to think about on the sign things. The signs do work. Now, one thing that you want to do, and we'll talk about this more with buyers next time, is anytime you talk to somebody, see how serious of a buyer they are. Are they looking at getting involved more? So that sort of thing. So that's some key things as far as marketing the property, getting it up and available. Next month, which is actually next year, I guess, since we're in December, we're going to be talking about how to handle buyers, how to manage those, how to track buyers in different areas. When you get other properties, this property may not work, but you may have a property tomorrow that works for them. So that's something that you want to look at doing. So we're looking at those sort of things. That's some things we'll look at, as well as other tracking ways of them. Look at my notes here, make sure I'm not leaving something out on that. And I did get your question, Allison, and I'm getting ready to answer that in a way that I hope that you'll like. Yeah, so the key thing today is what we went over is how to market your property. When you get it under contract, what do I need to do? Well, I need to go ahead and get, the due diligence. So people that ask me questions, I've got answers to. I need to go ahead and get the photos. If I send those 2 things out at the same time, they generally come back not that far away from one another. Usually within a week and a half, depending on what's going on, I can have that property up and going. I can have a rough draft of my ad copy on my Word document. So I've been working on that. I get the photos back. I may want to add something, got the due diligence. I can put the types of homes, those sort of things. But my ad copy itself is basically the same. If you look at my ads, they're all basically written the same. Talk about the property in the beginning, the meat of it is about selling the community. And then the end, you're talking about the property, trying to close them out, along with the data about the property, you know, what can be on it, sewer, water, power, those sort of things. Those are the key things that we go over. Now, what we'll do next time is we're going to go over how to handle buyers and responding to them, that sort of thing. So that can get really interesting. After that class, we got some other interesting things. I literally added another piece to this whole training. So that's coming down the road at some advanced stuff. But what I wanted to tell, I had someone ask me about, can I get slides this? I can't give you these particular slides just because of the agreement. I mean, I can't hand them out. But what I can offer you, and we're doing it just in the month of December, it's something that my company is doing that's a little different. So we have a land investing course, and what I'm teaching is a large percentage of that. Except with the course, you get all the documents, that sort of thing. What we're doing this month is we're giving that away. So you can get better than the slides. You can get the whole, every core, every lesson plan, all that stuff, all the documents and things that we use, we have in there. We normally sell it for $14.97. If you want it, you guys are on this call, all you got to do is go to a particular website. I'm going to give you that website. And what you do, you book a call. And what we do on that call is usually I'm on it and usually one of my team members. But what we want to do is just not throw that course at you. We want to help you. If you're in the land business, we want to strategize what you can do in the next 30 days to get your business going. And now you got a huge, big toolbox that we're giving you on top of that. Usually that strategy call, you don't get that toolbox, but you guys can get it for free. Just, it's a Christmas, we're in the giving spirit, so there it is. But it's literally our whole land investing program. Let me give you the website to go to. The best website to go to is right here. It's www.startinvestingwithmike.com. And I don't think that I've shared that with you yet, so hold on. Yep, here we go. There it is, www.startinvestingwithmike.com. Book a time, it'll take you to a calendar. There's also a video in there about me and our philosophy on how we look at things. I will put that in the chat thing as well. And again, if you're interested, we'd love to give you the program, get you jump starting your first 30 days. Again, especially with this group, if it comes from you guys, I do all in my power to get on a call with you. A lot of times it's just over the phone or sometimes Zoom, but most of the time over the phone because I'm out and about. But we'll get you started in the right direction, and that's what this is about. I just want to see you guys. This is a perfect time of year. We've got the new year coming up. Whether you do land, short sales, whatever you do in your business, I personally like land. I think it's the easiest, especially if you're investing remotely. Our philosophy is literally get in the land business first, get a good solid foundation, then you can sprout off in your business. That's why my rooted company is land deals. Now we have an education piece, but we also have, we're getting into short-term rentals now, other things. But my bread and butter again is the land business. That's what runs the company and all that stuff. So I would love to chat with you guys, make sure you're on the right track and get all that done for you. And again, it'll be better than just the slides. I promise you. You'll get access to everything as if you paid for the program. Questions? Anybody got any other questions?
I have a question, Mike.
Okay.
For your previous recorded stuff, is there any step-by-step on how to get started? Just to go back
Yes,
and review?
yes. And from my understanding, they're on the REI USA website, they keep usually the last 2 or 3 recordings. But there's also, if you subscribe to their REI USA YouTube channel, I think it's a YouTube channel they have all of those on there. And just kind of run through, especially if you're looking at it, just fast forward. I will get you started. I'll break it down step by step on what you need to get started in the business. As far as, do I need an address? How do I set up phone numbers? Do I need an email address? Do I need a website? How do I get mail? Do I want it sent to my house? No. Use PO box, things like that. How to get the LLC, all that stuff. We do teach in this, and it's recorded somewhere. So, and it may still be on REI USA. Just look at previous trainings, and it may be in there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for this session, and I would like to be a part of that, so I will be reaching out. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely do that. And like I said, I'll jump on the call as well. And if I don't talk to you guys before the next time, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. But I'm hoping that I'll talk to most of you again. Just jump on that, book a call, and we'll go from there.
Will do. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.